Hey, what's up guys, Boost here and welcome back to another One Piece video. So first of all, I'm sorry, but we are doing 2 Gecko Moria videos in a row. I've just been super excited about playing this deck, and I think this iteration of the deck that it came to is a lot different than the one I showed in Wednesday's video. And also I'm going to be showing basically like the meta matchups that were not in the previous video. So that's gonna be Shanks, Doflamingo, Lim, and then I'll also include like a game against Marco because I don't know, that game was just pretty funny. And I wanted to show it off as well. But first, I'm of course going to show you guys the deck list. If you just care about the gameplay, timestamps will be in the description. And you can just you can find whatever game you want to see. But yeah, let's just go over the list real quick. I do highly recommend checking out the first video as well. I post a link up there somewhere, because I'm not going to go super in depth about all the card choices, but I will go in depth about the card choices that are new. So we're still on Fortsuru, Rebecca, Epsilon, and we're still on the Inupe as well, but now we have like some other synergy with it in the form of the Thriller Bark stage. And as you can see, I call this deck Moria stage, so that's like a pretty important part of the deck. I'm on a full playset of Kumasi. So this reads, for every 5 cards in your trash, this character gets plus 1000 power, if there's 2 done under it. And like basically you can play this out with either stage or the 4-drop Gecko Moria. And the thing about this card is, your opponent is going to attack it. Basically they have to. It's essentially like you're playing like a 7k body rested in your opponent's turn. It's like the red Sanji basically. So they have to attack into this, and when you're playing this from trash with stage, you always have access to it, and it's just 1 done. So yeah, very strong in my opinion, and like if it survives the turn, then you can really push with this card. I'm on 3 Hawkback, which might seem a little bit wild, but I had to cut like some of the Thriller Bark names, and Hawkback, honestly, it doesn't come up that much. I really think if you play 3, you will see it plenty of times. Because we're also playing like the new Perona and the Gecko Moria. 4-drop, still 4 Sindri, 4 Perona. We're on 3 Captain John. So this says on play, mill trade 2 cards, give something -1. And again, we are playing this off the stage if it's in the trash. And basically there's a lot of 7 calls in the format right now. So if you have like access to Hina via either Rebecca or just having it in hand and stage, you will be able to give anything -5. So you will be able to pop a 7 cost with Absalom, which comes up a lot, especially when you're playing against Shanks. And you're up against like a Ben Beckman, which tends to happen quite often. Then we are still on this Moria. We now play even more targets for it, so even better. And then we play this Perona, which came out in OP10, which says you may place 2 cards with Thriller Bark Pirates from your trash at the bottom of your deck in any order, and then you, up to one of your characters other than Perona, gets plus 2000 power during this turn. So this again synergizes really well with Inupe, Captain John, which again we can all play from the Thriller Bark stage. So yeah, Hina and Tempest King, nothing to say about that. But then the stage, I probably should have started with this. A lot of people don't know what this does. So it's a 1-cost stage. It says activate main, rest 1 done, and rest this stage. If your leader has the Thriller Bark Pirates type, you may play up to 1 cost 2 or lower Thriller Bark Pirates type character from your trash rested. And I already talked about the targets we have for this. And also you can play Sindri of this, which in certain situations, let's say you have like an Absalom on the field, but you don't have access to Absalom in the hand or in the trash. You can use the stage, play out Sindri, and hope to get to the Absalom via that. And you will actually see this come up in the gameplay I'm about to show you as well. Yeah, this is the deck. I'm very excited about this deck. Let's check it out. Alright, starting out with the Shanks game. He is the big bad of the format, so... And I didn't get to show off the matchup in the previous video, so let's check it out here. He wins the Dairo, opts to go first. I think that is correct. I would also opt to go first. I mulligan, and we actually have like a pretty solid start with both Sindri and the stage here, which you definitely want to be seeing. However, we do not have a lot of counter in hand, which is like an understatement. We only have 1k. We do, however, since we're going second on 6 done, we will be able to go Hina into Absalom, which is very strong and deals with pretty much everything. Draw another non-counter card. Now we draw Perona, and not perfect. As you'll see, I'm gonna be swinging 6 here. Discard the Moria, play out the Okay, play out hook back, dig for a counter, that is fair. And the thing is, I didn't swing 7 here because I wanted to, in case I milled something like another Sindri or maybe Inupe, I wanted to be able to play this off the Thriller Bark stage. And as you see, we actually got access to Kumasi here. And we will be able to play that out here. And he will be forced to attack it, essentially. Like, he's not technically forced to attack it, but, I mean, he pretty much has to, right? Because it does definitely pose a threat here on the field. So, yeah, he swings into it. That's perfectly fine by me. Then he's going to swing 7 into our leader. I mean, we have to take... Or, I mean, we could counter out with 3 cards, but we don't really want to be giving away. We don't have any 2Ks, right? So, now we can't really go for the Hina Absalom line because, you know, popping the Lucky Rule like that... not exactly ideal. We play out the Kumasi. Or we trash the Kumasi, I should say. Play out Gecko Moria. And now we will be able to play out the 2 costs with both the Gecko Moria and the stage. And as you can see, we'll cycle some cards here with the Inupe. Play out the Kumasi again. Again, it's like a pseudo blocker, right? The reason I want to keep the Hinas in hand here is you just kind of need... multiple Hina if you want to be dealing with the 10 cost, and our opponent is still at 5 life at this point in the game, which is not very good for us. Also plays Backman here, so gets rid of both the threats we have on the field, which is a little bit annoying. But now we will be able to deal with the Backman, right? Which is good, so we go grab a counter with Rebecca, play out the Hina. Now we did lose our... actually, no, we didn't. We can actually out, if we want to, next turn we can out the... I mean, not next turn, but like later. If we don't use the Rebecca and the Hina here, we can go Hina into Rebecca, Hina into Absalom to out a potential 10 drop. We see Absalom getting rid of the Backman here. He still counters, so still on 5 life. But we do have like 3 swings set up now for next turn. However, we are playing against Shanks, so odds are that he's going to be playing out the Rayleigh or Ben Backman. And he does play out the Rayleigh here. Swing over the Hina, not much we can do about that. And again, we will not really be able to pressure him as much as we want this turn. We can get rid of the Rayleigh though if we want to. But if we do, then we won't be able to deal with the Shanks next turn, which might be a problem. We do opt to go out the Rayleigh here. I'll go swing, ditch a stage of course. We don't need more than 1 stage. Get rid of the Rayleigh. And now we can swing 6 with the Inupe as well. Like if he would have gone leader effect here, we could have just swung 5 and go stage. Play out Kumasi, but we do want to finally get him to less than 5 life, right? So had to play it like this, I'm afraid. Even though it's not ideal. He does drop another Rayleigh here, so he doesn't seem to have the 10 drop, which is good for us because the 10 drop is pretty annoying into our deck, which only spams 5k bodies. He swings into the Inupe here, actually, so I feel that kind of gives away he doesn't have a lot of counter in hand at this point. And we get to cycle a little bit, which is nice, so he swings 6 at leader. And I don't think we will be able to deal with the Rayleigh here. Or could we? Actually, no, we can't. We can't. So we have to figure out something else. We play out the Perona here to eat a card from his hand. Yeah, make him discard. And he actually used the -1000 here, which is very good for us because that means we will be able to, swing with the Absalom. And now we will be able to go Thriller Bark, play out the Kumasi, which again is going to be like a pseudo blocker, especially at this point in the game when we have a lot of cards in hand. He really doesn't want us to be swinging with like a 9k Kumasi next turn. So now he finally finds the Shanks, finds 2 of them actually with the Searchers, plays out Ben Backman, 5 into the Kumasi. But now he has to deal with the field like the entire time. He doesn't really swing into life, which is definitely good for us. So it gives us a little bit more time, especially with like all these 2Ks in hand and the Rebecca as well. We can finally start to like push a little bit here and then potentially set up a Rebecca to make sure we don't get gamed next turn. So up to swing 6 here with the Absalom. I'm not quite sure what the line here is going to be. I'll play out hook back. Probably grab back like a 2k. Or maybe I grab back the, yeah, I grab back the Moria, this makes sense. Play out Kumasi, play out Kumasi. So I really just want to threaten him basically with these Kumasis on field, really force him to deal with this. But the thing is, I think in hindsight this was like a little bit of a misplay because now he can just swing the Utas into the Kumasis, right? So definitely not optimal. I really didn't think about like the reduction from the Shanks coming in. So that was like a little bit suboptimal. I mean, the idea was there, right? But we know he has the 10 drop Shanks, so then it really isn't that good. And now basically we have to push for game, but like I said, we know he has at least 110 cost Shanks in hand, and from the way he played last turn, it really looks like he probably doesn't have a lot of counter. So yeah, just gonna go in here basically and hope that it gets there, because I don't think there's a world where we go like double Rebecca and survive the next turn anyway. Now we can go 7-9, I think, or 7-10. No, 7-9, yeah. And it works, he doesn't have it. So, yeah, that worked out pretty well. And honestly, this deck is very good into Shanks. Usually the game goes better than this, but yeah, let's move on to the next one. Alright, going into the game versus Lim here. I mean, basically like the breakout deck from last weekend, right? And I think it will probably be a huge meta contender for the remainder of the pre-EBO2 format. So I think showing off a game versus Lim is pretty important. He won the die roll, but he didn't start with a 1 cost, so that's good for us. We did start with the Unipay, which helped us cycle a little bit. And we already have access to basically all the names. So since we can't really out the Sabo with effect here, we just swing into it big. And really, if this like resolves, then we are like in such a commanding position, but he does have the double 2k to save it, so we will actually have to play the game here. Well, that's fine, that's fine. I really think this matchup is pretty good. It's pretty decent. Goes into a Nell here. And I think he was hoping to find the 3-cost Lim here, so he could play that out, but yeah, not so lucky. And now we can go like 6 into the Nell and go Hina Absalom set up for next turn. So we do that, pop the Sabo. I mean, getting rid of the Sabo has the highest priority, right? Because he has like a when attacking effect, and the Nell is just on play. So at this point in the game, it's just a 6k body. He swings, and yeah, I opt to not take this because Lim can go really aggro suddenly. Goes Newgate, pop the Hina, pretty strong play. Then he swings into us with 6. We do not have a 2k, so we have to take it. Play out the Mihawk, and he has to go 6 again. And probably we should have countered this with double 1k. To be honest, but we didn't. But I really think in hindsight it would have been better. And now we just go 6 into one of his guys, Absalom, pop the other guy again. We are stuck with like 2 bricks and 2 1ks in hand though. Like sometimes if you can set up the stage early, it's kind of mediocre, but now he opts to just like throw away the Mihawk, and I think he's banking on top decking either Top Knot or Mihawk to close out the game here. And if he has any of those, then we probably lose, I want to say. I think so. Unless we get like double 2k from life, then maybe we live. I mean, maybe the Mihawk doesn't win him the game, but I'm pretty sure the Top Knot definitely does. He swings 9, I mean, what can I do? I can block it, but goes 9 again. Can block this, but at this point, like, okay, if he has Top Knot, then he would have played it earlier, or if he plays it now, he can just counter the 7, so that's fine. Yeah, so up to counter this, because, like, I can clear his field this turn for sure, but I can't deal with, like, just the massive leader swing, so I'd rather keep the blocker around. I swing 5, which he actually takes, and this one I'm like, okay, I guess I'll just try to go for game. Swing 6, he also takes. Go 6 again, he takes. Now I think I'll go 7-9, which we probably shouldn't have an answer for. So I go 7 and yeah, go 9. And he doesn't have it. He actually doesn't have it, so I was super lucky there that the cards he drew first were like a brick and a 1k. I don't know, it just felt so risky too. I don't really think it was a viable strategy to just go out his board and hope the Rebecca saves me, right? Because there is a lot of answers to Rebecca in the Lim deck. Yeah, but that was versus Lim. I think this matchup is favorable. Let's go into the pseudo mirror match, which is against Dovi. Alright, hopping into this match, I call this like a pseudo mirror match because these decks, they really operate in a very similar way. And I do think the joke is kind of that like Doflamingo has this effect with the Warlords, right? And then Gecko Moria is also a Warlord and he has like the same kind of effect with the Thriller Bar cards. But I guess Doflamingo is like a puppeteer. He controls the guys and then Moria revives them. I don't know, something like that. Referencing the manga or the anime. So I start with stage here. You'll find this matchup is also very similar to like a Doflamingo mirror match where you're mostly really contesting the board the entire time. He actually stacked this Teach to the top here with the Perona. I don't know. That kind of makes it look like his top stack kind of sucked. But maybe he just shouldn't have kept it then, I'm not sure. Also, maybe it was worth going up some on the Perona. Last turn instead of like eating a card from his hand and outing the Teach. Like we could have still outed the Teach, but also outed the Perona, which I feel like probably would have been better. Now our turn is just a little bit awkward. We could have popped the Law. We just played the Captain Johnny to get the mill to play out this guy. Oh right, you didn't see this this character in the deck list when I showed it at the start because I was still running like a different list. At that point I was like testing the event and stuff. I think it's called Shadow Asgard. And this guy really synergizes with that, but it literally never came up in any game I played, so I just got the event and this guy as well. But basically what he says, like on KO you can give your leader or one of your characters plus 1000 for the turn, which is not necessarily super bad, but I mean it's also not super repressive, right? And now he has built this board and like it's up to us to out the board. But I mean we definitely can. We are playing Gecko Moria, swing 6 into the big guy. Also don't want to give him like life cards, so we have to just play it like this. Right, so I'll go Upslum on the Teach and hope this 8k swing goes through. Not sure what I'm keeping like the double done open for, to be honest. Oh right, so I can boost the guy. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Yes, that definitely makes sense. And now we basically checked for a 2k, which he most likely doesn't have, right? Go 7. We can counter this. We probably shoot to play around putting. Yeah, we do. And he goes swing to the guy. That's perfectly fine. I opt to boost the Perona because I'd rather keep the Perona on the field than not take a life. But he just bounces it with the Law. So what can you do? And now you know, just again, it's up to us to try to clear the board. Go swing, pitch the 2, we'll play out Upsilon. And then we go 7 into Law, I think, and then once again it's up to him basically to deal with the field, right? He plays Boa, he plays another Boa. And he stacked to top twice, so he was always gonna do this line, I guess, play out Weevil. We pick up stage from live, that's fine. I don't think we have X. Yeah, we do have access to another Epsilon. Okay, that's pretty good. So now we can just go chip. And also KO one of the Boas for sure. Now if he wants to protect the Boa, then he has to like throw away his entire hand, right? And I would really hope this one goes through, and it does. Play out the Rebecca, pick up a 2k, because we are in like a pretty commanding position now with like the amount of 5ks we have on the field. He has 2 swings, he does have the Teach, but he only has 2 cards in hand. He goes event here, bottom deck the Rebecca, and I really feel like at this point he realizes that he's probably not gonna win the control game, so he just tries to go aggro. However, we do have like a bazillion 2Ks in hand, so we should be able to live. We can probably even go hog back, grab another 2K, which I think is the line we're going to go for, because we can't game him here, right? I mean, it's going to be very challenging through double blocker. So I first swing with the characters, of course, so I don't get wrecked by events. But surprise, surprise, I do get wrecked by events. I actually was like, I don't know how many times I played against Dofi today, but every time they had like 3 events or something in live, which was a little bit annoying. So now I'll just go swing 7. He takes. Then I'll go swing 8. Drop the 0 counter, hog back. So we could actually grab the event here, but it's once again, it's just not that good. Put back Perona, grab Sindri. So we just have like a bunch of 2Ks in hand now, and this is going to play out that guy just for like a potential next turn game push, right? However, if he does try to go for game here, then we probably don't need it anyway. He goes 9. I'm like, yeah. I think I calculated that no matter what I drew, I wanted him to attack me, right? So he goes 12, which we counter out with like our infinite 2Ks. And then he goes 5, which we counter out. And that's just gonna be the game, right? Because we have too many attacks here on board. So yeah, that's basically the meta decks for today. But I do want to show you guys the Marco game, just because it was like against a buddy of mine that I accidentally ran into, and just an interesting matchup, right? Let's check it out. Alright, last one for today against Marco. So not like a meta deck, but I really think this deck is low-key kind of good. And it's funny, it's like he types like, oh, I just watched your video. And I tell him, yeah, I'm like playing on a way different list at this point than I wasn't during the video. But yeah. He opts to go. Oh no, I won the Dairo, so I opts to go second, of course. That makes way more sense. He just does the Marco thing. Our hand is looking pretty good. We have the stage. We have multiple names for the Thriller Bark engine here. And he's just telling me like he really likes the Moria deck. He goes Marco effect again, swing 7, like we are obviously going to take it. And then I was like, why does he keep the Dawn open? But of course he's playing like the animal build, right? So, should have known. I get lucky, mill the Perona here, so I get to like chip away at his hand a little bit. Which is definitely better than just playing out the Moria for like essentially no effect. He plays out the Chopper, which is of course the best thing he can hit. I'm actually not sure if you put it to the top deck with Marco or not. I mean, that is a possibility, right? I don't really remember, and I missed it in the chat. He swings 6 here. We do not have a 2K, of course. We played 12, but we never have them, right? So we have to take it. Then he's going to go Marco swing 6 as well, and now we can find a counter with the 2K. But he does have like a really solid starter, because he already set up the Chopper. Now he goes Evi into the Richie. However, he did miss the Chopper effect. So that's definitely very good for us. And I'll give like a little bit of a spoiler, but at the end of the game he told me he bottom decked all his Sanjis with the Chopper effect. And now I decide to go this route. I'd rather have him have the Chopper on board than the Ivankov. The Ivankov is just like I know the Ivankov is smaller, but it's just always gonna draw a card. And then if he plays like out a rested animal, I don't really care about that too much, because we like spam so many bodies. But we end up dealing with the entire field. Apparently he didn't have like any counter in hand or something like that. So, good for us. He swings into the Perona. That's of course fine. Plays out another Chopper. And yeah, plays out another Chopper. So, pretty solid start. Luckily we pump out a lot of bodies with this deck, so we can just deal with it. I go Sindri here to set up the trash a little bit for Tempest Kick, I think. Was the reason why I opted to go this line. He just countered out nothing, so good for us. And then, yeah, we just play out Epsilon, so I wasn't gonna do the Tempest Kick anyway. That's fine, and now it's looking pretty good for us, like, full field. He does have just one chopper, but, like, this is usually the turn where Marco starts doing, like, good stuff, right? Like, playing Ben Beckman, Rayleigh, 7-cost Nilgate, also a card they very often play. So, yeah, we'll see. He reduces the Upsilon there, plays out Kuma, swings 6 into Arhina, which we kind of have to let go, which is a shame. This one as well, and now he kind of telegraphs it, 5's on open Marco, so there goes the field. I was just saying how good it was, how many cards we had on field, but like he really dealt with it quite well. Probably also making the read we didn't have a 2k in hand. And now it's our turn again to deal with the field. I go Tempest Kick on the Marco. Draw Kumasi. Give it on to Moria. Pitch the Moria. Play out Absalom. And now just hope the Marco doesn't come back. Like it doesn't have another shut up and come with us. But he doesn't, by the way. He doesn't. Now he's thinking like, should he counter out the chopper? Which he doesn't. Now we can go swing 6 into that chopper. And then we can play out either Hawkback or Rebecca, but we rather keep the Rebecca to have access to the Hina, right? So we just play out Hawkback to grab back a 2k. And yep, we're once again at the point where it's his turn to deal with my field, which he will be able to do because he has a 7-cost Nilgate. He can run over my Absalom and then KO one of my guys with the Nilgate as well. Run into the Absalom here. I opt to counter it out because then it forces him to swing the Marco into the Absalom. This is like a really good top deck we get here, the Hina, because we draw the Hina, which means we will now be able to deal with the Nilgate, because I don't think there's a Captain John in the trash. Captain John would have done the same, but sadly we didn't really get him see a lot of action in these games, but it's a good card, I promise. So swing 6 into Marco. He kept 2 Don open, so it's like, I really hope he doesn't have to shut up and come with us. He does though, but one of them plays out the bear and the other one whiffs completely, so that's fine. He can have his 3k body. And now it's basically game, I think. Don't really know what he would need to really play through this. I mean, the bear can run over one of my guys in combination with the Marco effect, I guess, but yeah, next turn we can just do stuff again, right? I mean, maybe it's a little bit harder now because we don't really have like any reduction or something, but I mean, any one card is just 2 bodies when you play Hawkback, right? So he plays out the Richie. And now the things, we do not have Absalom in the trash, but here the stage actually makes use of itself, and we do mill the Absalom with the Sindri that we play off stage. And now this is, I think this is guaranteed game. Unless he has like some crazy counter event, but yeah, and that's it, right? Now we can swing 10, and if he counters it out, that's still gonna be game with the Absalom. So yeah, Gecko Moria, I love it. I hope you love it as well. Probably doing another deck in the next video, but I just wanted to show off the stage build as well because I've been having so much fun with this deck. Let me know what you think about this deck as well. Leave a like if you haven't yet. Please subscribe, and if you do, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.